Hickenlooper.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank each of you. We've been watching you on TV as we go between different hearings, but it is something that really is of crucial importance. Now, according to the Federal Reserve, 75% of the bottom half of income distribution, the 3/4 of those people in the bottom half don't have a retirement plan at work. But more concerning, according to the Federal Reserve, those in the bottom 50% by wealth have a median retirement savings of 0. And I think, obviously, we need some more innovation in our retirement savings options so that middle Americans can participate and build wealth. And Ms. Rademacher, I was going to ask you, since I have a long history with the Aspen Institute, could a retirement savings plan that has low costs and a federal match and easy to understand investments, could that work for that spectrum of workers?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Senator. The retirement savings system we have in America is, and as I said in my early remarks, when you look at the survey of consumer finances in America, the two places that 80% of Americans have wealth on their balance sheets are home equity and retirement savings. And that is when we have a system that I like to say has one hand tied behind our back, because we actually aren't engaged with over 50 million Americans having an opportunity to save in that system. Americans want the opportunity to save for their future. They need help in a couple of different ways. We need to remove the friction from that process as much as possible, which, to the points that we've said, is making automatic enrollment there, making it available to any worker, no matter the size of the employer, or even in the long run, moving this to figure out how we work with gig workers. People will save. An incentive and understanding too, and this is a different jurisdiction than the Help Committee, but there are differentiated ways that individuals are incentivized to save, right? If you're in a lower tax bracket, you get less of an opportunity to save on the dollar, right, than if you're in a higher tax bracket. There's lots of different ways that we can make this easier. We have seen in places where states are leading, we've seen in other countries, that when you have a system that's all in, people not only save, they take pride in that, and they take pride in the idea that their workers are able to save. So I think this is a solvable problem. I think it is a problem that we can solve on a bipartisan basis in this country, and I think financial security at the household level is a critical piece of long-term economic growth in this country.
Hear, hear. Mr. Kubantaris, and we've heard about how many small business workers have access to a retirement plan, and it's roughly half, or maybe a little over half. And I know as someone who spent, at least up until I was 50 and got the harebrained scheme that I'd run for office, but I was in small business and really saw that the barriers that when you're running a small business there are to a plan and trying to deal with it. And our office has been working with Senator Collins to figure out a way to remove administrative obstacles for small businesses. And you've seen the Bipartisan Secure Act group of plans and pooled employment plans provisions that will allow small businesses to pool resources, which at the same time will use economies of scale and be able to set up retirement plans at much lower cost. So how can we balance the streamlining the compliance procedures while still making sure we have sufficient oversight?
Thank you, Senator. A very important question. As you touched upon, group of plans offer real promise for small employers, as do pooled employer plans. But there are important distinctions between the two. The Labor Department recently came out with guidance with respect to audit requirements as it related specifically around group of plans, and we are concerned that may create some issues for smaller employers. You see, small businesses today that sponsor a retirement plan that is smaller in size is not subject to an audit requirement. Accordingly, their administrative costs are a bit lower. Now, if a small employer wishes to participate, or I should say join a group of plan, which provides certain administrative efficiencies, a consolidated trust, same set of investments, single Form 5500 filing, and an audit were required on the entire group, then obviously that small employer would bear a portion of those costs. Our suggestion would be to free the group from any audit requirement, but any larger employer that otherwise would be subject to an audit on its own, to have an audit apply for that larger employer that's part of the group of plans. The other piece of this, though, is to ensure that the Form 5500 filing that would be required for the group should not be held up merely because an audit for one of those larger employers is incomplete. Together, that combination would make group of plans still a very viable option for small employers in the future.
Great, perfect. And I have other longer questions which I'll submit in writing, but I'll, at this point, return back to the chair. I'll yield back my time.
Thank you very much. I see Senator Braun is here. We'll give him a minute.